teacher Richard, and today we're going to be building the Lego Duplo robot hockey player. Okay, this project is awesome. It has lots of moving pieces. It is super fun to use. So let's get started so we can test it out ourselves. Okay. Now our minifigure friends Sam and Sarah, they just joined a hockey team. Okay, and their hockey team needs 3 players. And Sam and Sarah, they're both good at passing the hockey puck. They're both good at blocking the other team from scoring goals with the hockey puck, but neither of them are very good at shooting. Okay, so they're having trouble scoring goals for their hockey team. And they are hoping that they can build a robot hockey player that will be better at shooting pucks than they are so that their team can score more goals and so that their team can win. Okay, so we need to help them build a robot hockey player that we can have on their team. All right, engineers, do you think we can do it? Yes, I think so too. Okay, now our robot hockey player has lots of moving pieces. Okay, but before we get to any of these parts up here, we have to make sure that our robot hockey player is stable. Okay, because hockey is not played on grass like soccer. It's not played on hardwood like basketball. Hockey is played on ice. And if you've ever tried to ice skate or even walk on ice, you know that it's very slippery and it's very easy to fall. So when we're building our robot hockey player, we need to make sure that it is nice and sturdy from the ground up. Okay? So the first step, the first pieces that we're going to use, we're going to add our hockey player's feet, okay, onto some nice sturdy skates, okay, these rectangle pieces. We want to make sure that the foundation for our hockey player, the feet for our hockey player, are nice and wide and long, okay? If we just had their feet on the ice like this, it's a smaller area that's touching the ground and it's more likely to slip. Okay, so that's why we're going to add our green ice skates on to our hockey player. Then, engineers, we are going to connect those 2 feet together using our 2 medium red pieces like these. We're going to stack them right on top of each other like this, and we're going to put one on this foot, there we go, and one on this foot, right like that. Okay, now we've got a nice wide sturdy foundation. Okay, and as we build up, we're going to make sure that we don't add too many pieces on the outside of the feet so that our hockey player is not going to lose balance. Okay, think about how your body is built, and your feet and your hips and your shoulders are all about the same width apart. Okay, and if you only put one arm out like this, then you start to lean this way, you put the other arm out like this to stay balanced, right? But we want to make sure that when we build our hockey player, most of its pieces are in a straight line going up like this. Okay? Now the next step, we're going to add 2 of our support pieces like this. Okay, so now you can actually see through your hockey player, which is pretty cool. You should be able to look through it just like that. Okay, at this step. Now this next part is a little bit tricky, and on the instructions, okay, it might not be really clear. So I'm going to make sure that we can build this part together. Okay, now for this next step, we're going to put a brick that has one half connected and the other half just outside of our hockey player's feet. Okay, so like that and that. Then we're going to add one more rectangle right here. Okay, and then one more square right here. All right, balanced, pretty sturdy, right? So now we can start adding the moving pieces onto it. Okay, to make our hockey stick move, we're gonna add some gears. Okay, we have our big yellow gear, we have our medium red gear, and we have our tiny gear that's connected to an axle. An axle is this stick here, just like this is an axle, but this axle actually has a gear connected to it. Okay, now the cool thing about gears is that no matter the size of the gear, as long as the teeth fit together, which are these little grooves around the outside, those are called teeth. As long as the teeth fit together, the gears will spin together. Okay, so you can have a really huge gear, you can have a really tiny gear. The only thing that matters is that the teeth are the same size. Okay, so think about your teeth compared to your parents' teeth, right? Your parents' teeth are probably going to be bigger than yours, but they fit together perfectly because they're the same size as each other. Your teeth, right, when we chomp down on food, your teeth might be smaller than your parents, but they're the same size as each of your other teeth, so that when you chomp down, they meet in the middle perfectly so that you can chomp food safely, right, and it doesn't hurt when you bite. So that's the same thing that's happening with these teeth on these gears. Now, if you want to test your gears, you can always connect an axle, push it through like this. This is always a great way to test gears and to see them in action. Okay, I can do that here too. Right, and then if we spin one gear, it spins all of them. Right, and it doesn't matter which one you spin, as long as the teeth are touching, then our gears will all move together, and that is called a gear train. Okay, it's a train of gears that are all connected. Okay, so we learned about gears. Now I want to show you how we're going to connect these gears onto our hockey player so that it can shoot hockey pucks. Okay, now engineers know the difference between gears because they call them by how many teeth they have. So this gear right here has about 20 teeth. This gear has about 40 teeth. So this is our 40 tooth gear. Now a quick way to double check that that number is right is I like to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 right here. And then imagine if this was a pizza. There'd be one slice of pie here, 2 slices, 3 slices, 4 slices. Right, so 4 slices of pizza, and we know this slice has 10 teeth, so then we say 10, 20, 30, 40. This gear has 40 teeth, engineers. We want to have our biggest gear in the middle of our robot. So I'm going to push this axle right through his chest, and then I'm going to push the axle through the middle hole on the gear like this. Okay, so now this gear is spinning. I can spin it with the axle. It is sliding right now, which we don't really want. So, to make sure it doesn't slide, we're going to take a wheel piece. I'm going to line up the holes with our 2 hubcaps. And we're going to push this right on this end here. So now it doesn't slide, right, because it's stopping on the back, but it can still spin, okay? Now, remember when I showed you these 2 gears spinning together like this, okay? They're both spinning, but they're both in a straight line with each other, okay? So if we wanted to get this blue gear spinning with this yellow gear, we can put it right here, but this piece gets in the way a little bit. Okay, so we don't really have room to add another gear here or here to the side of it. Instead, we're going to use this very gear right here, okay? And you'll see that these gear have the same amount of teeth, okay? And they're the same size. But when we flip them this way, you'll notice that these teeth kind of are pointy on the top, and these ones are more smooth all along, okay? This gear is a very special gear. It's called a crown gear. And the reason it's called a crown gear is because if you put it up like this where the spikes are pointed up, it kind of looks like a crown, doesn't it? It's more of a better fit on Sam's head, right? So that's kind of looks like a crown, and that's how it's got its name of a crown gear. Now here is the really cool thing about a crown gear, engineers. Crown gear is stickers don't connect this. They can connect this way, but they don't connect as cleanly as this one does. But the crown gears can connect this way. They can connect perpendicular. So this would be parallel, right next to each other, and then this, it's facing the big yellow gear, so this is perpendicular. Okay, engineers? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our big, long green axle. Okay, remember axles, they look like sticks, but these little grooves fit perfectly into our gear. I'm going to take our big, long green axle. I'm going to put it through our red piece with holes. I'm going to connect it right here, and then check it out. I can spin the crown gear and it spins the yellow, or I spin the yellow and it spins the crown. We just made a gear train, engineers. It just looks a little bit different than this gear train that we made earlier because we're using the crown gear, okay? Now, I'm going to add the same piece on the other side, like this. And then right now, okay, we need a reinforcement right here because they're connected on the bottom, but they're not connected on the top. And you'll see on the build card right here, it has a reinforcement piece, which is kind of like a shoulder pad. This piece right here, which real hockey players use to help make sure their shoulder's safe in case they run into each other, or they slip on the ice, or they fall. Okay? Now, we're going to build a nice neck. It's going to be hard for a hockey player to score if he doesn't have eyes, right? So now we've got his eyes. And now we're spinning like this. It's looking good, right? Okay, but we don't have the stick yet. So, here is our stick piece. I'm going to put it right here, the third hole down. Okay, and then I'm going to give it a spin, and let's see if our hockey player can swing his stick. Huh. It's moving a little bit, but not a lot, right? Okay, now, the reason for that, these holes right here, right, are very different than these ones. These ones are fit so that when the axle goes through, this has to spin with the axle. Right? We can't spin the axle without also spinning the gear because of the shape it is. This one, we can spin the axle and I can hold this still and it doesn't spin with it. Right? Because these holes are bigger. The reason they have these bigger holes is they're useful because we can connect them onto bricks like this. But when we want it to move along with our axle, then we need to come up with an engineering solution. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on the third hole like that, and then we're going to take a new piece. This is called a lever, engineers. We're going to build lots of things using levers this session. Okay? They can do a lot of different cool things for projects. What we're going to use it for on this project is making it so that when the axle spins, the hockey stick spins with it. So I'm going to point the lever going in. Remember, we're on the third hole down. I'm going to hold the green axle with these fingers, and I'm going to pinch it shut like this. Now let's test and see if the stick spins with the axle. That is what we're looking for. Okay, so check out all these pieces we have connected. Ready? We've got our tire in the back connected to our gray axle. That is connected to our yellow gear, so that's three pieces all working together already. That is connected to our crown gear. That's right, good job, you have the crown gear. The crown gear is connected to our green axle. Our green axle is connected to our hockey stick and our lever. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces all working together for our robot hockey player. Check that out. I think Sam and Sarah want to hop up there. They want to see this hockey player in action. Now, guess what we get to use as our puck? Perfect. We get to use this yellow piece right here as our puck. We're going to set it right in front of the hockey stick. I'm going to turn it back. Uh-oh. Sam's fingers in the way. There we go. I'm going to swing it back. I'm going to hold his head to make sure he stays sturdy when I spin. Woo! That was a fast shot. It went all the way off the table, engineers. Okay, so our hockey player one last bonus challenge, engineers. Can we make it so that 2 hockey sticks spin or shoot when we're spinning this one gear? Okay, how do you think we could do that? Good idea, I like the way you're thinking. We're going to do the same system we have here over on this side. So I'm going to add the crown gear. I'm going to hold it right here with one hand. Get the axle through. Add our hockey stick. Third hole down. Give it a swing.